Let's learn real analysis on TikTok. This is part one. There are going to be 42 videos modeling the class I'm teaching this semester. And today we're just going to talk about what is a number and what is the class even going to be about. We kind of think we know what numbers are, but there are lots of fuzzy cases, right? Like you may have learned that the square root of -1 is not a real number, but an imaginary number. And there are numbers that are whole numbers like 3 or 4, and there are fractions that are like 3/4. But there are also real numbers like square root of 2 that can't be written as any fraction. These are called irrational numbers. The news gets a little bit worse because it actually turns out that most of the real numbers, the numbers that we draw on the number line, turn out to be irrational. In fact, there's infinitely many, and there's a bigger size of infinity of irrational stuff as opposed to the counting numbers and the rational numbers. I think this means it deserves study, and that's why we have a course that we teach undergraduates called Real Analysis, where we look at what is the definition of the real number system, what properties does it have, and what can we do with that. And that definition of the real number system is going to be in terms of axioms. And most of the axioms are pretty simple, like 0 plus x is equal to x, or x plus y is the same as y plus x. But there's one axiom that takes into account all those missing points on the number line that can't be written as fractions, and that's called the completeness axiom. We're going to see that that axiom is a little bit more complicated than the others. Actually, it's a lot more complicated, but that is what makes all of the real numbers tick. I recently posted a TikTok video about how 0 is less than 1 is actually not an axiom of the real numbers, but actually something that can be derived from it. In fact, you can also define transcendental numbers like e and pi, and you can make proofs that these numbers are not rational by using the techniques of real analysis. Finally, I'll just close with what real analysis stands for. Real refers to real numbers. There won't be any complex numbers in the class, although we may talk a little bit about that. And analysis refers mostly to error analysis. In fact, one of the most famous letters that everyone uses in analysis class is the Greek letter epsilon, which basically represents an error. And so analysis is not the type of field where you study exact things. You study things that are close. And what's really important is how close are they? If you've ever been to an amusement park where there were limits, so you had to be this tall to ride, analysis is kind of the same way. We look at the rules, we look at the definitions, and then we show that our definitions within a certain tolerance will meet the requirements. So stick around, there's 41 more parts coming. If you like this video, if you like mathematical content, let me know in the comments what sort of stuff you'd like to see. Maybe I can start another video series as well.